Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. What is up? Oi, it's been a minute. Gotta find my pen. Here we go. So yeah, I have been pretty busy. I'm working on 3 music videos right now, and I guess I'll just talk about and show a little bit of each one. But the main thing I'm going to be doing on this live stream is going to be animating some abstract animation for a project. But yeah, I'm working on 3 different videos. That's why I haven't been streaming in the past 3 or 4 months. And so this one is just like a kind of rubber hose style one, and I've just been kind of working on concept stuff. Not gonna really show that much about it, but it's kind of like a rubber hose futuristic hybrid, and I'm just fleshing out some ideas here. These are just like thumbnail sketches, and later on I'll blow these up bigger and turn them into storyboards, and then do a more refined drawings that will be the layout drawings to get it prepared for animation. So that's project number 1. The other project I'm working on is like a 1970s-ish style psychedelic 2D animation. I can't really show that one, but I'll just show a little bit, where this is just an uncolored scene. It's like UFO eye flying out off the earth, and then this eyeball opens and the dude is on a bed that turns back into an eye, and it flies into the screen. So that's just like a short little sequence. And then music video number 3, which is the one I'll be working on today, is an abstract animation like this. So this one is gonna be in the style of like the old school drawn on film animation, popularized by like Norman McLaren, Lin Lai, a lot of those 1930s to through 1950s even, where they draw on the actual film stock and get these different looks going. So I'm animating this in TV Paint, and I'm using different types of custom brushes to try to emulate that style. So that's something I like about TV Paint, is you can get some of these more textural type brushes, whereas if you're using like a vector type pen, you know, it'd be a lot cleaner and less textury. So I'm gonna show you down here. This is the soundtrack. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see, if you can hear that, I'm basically animating these bass notes right before the sound wave comes in. So like 3 frames before we even hear the boom, we have an image start to come in, and then when the sound happens, that's when it gets biggest, and then it disappears. So when you're animating things to sound, you basically want the visual to happen slightly before the sound happens, or when the sound happens, but never after the sound happens, because images travel faster than sound. Light travels faster than sound. So for instance, when there's a thunderstorm, you're gonna see the lightning before you even hear the thunder. So the same concept, and that's a more extreme example because it's like an even bigger delay when you see the lightning, and then it takes a while to hear the thunder. But the same concept applies to animating, like lip sync or anything that is synced up to sound. You always have the visual happen on or before the sound. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I guess I just show you a little bit more. I'm also going to be putting some abstract glitch visuals in the background. I created these analog glitch visuals by filming my CRT TV. I have this stuff going through a mixer, a video mixer, and I got some of these custom-made glitch pedals that look like guitar pedals, but they're for plugging it into your video output, and you can like mess around with the colors and get all these interesting glitchy effects. So this is all just made inside the video mixer. It's then I just film it with my camera onto my CRT TV. And the reason I'm filming it on the CRT is because you get these like crunchy, juicy little pixels, and it adds a really nice texture. So yeah, I'll just show you like another. So this one's actually kind of more psychedelic. Yeah, this like, so it didn't actually look like this on the CRT. I'll then import this into Final Cut and then boost up the saturation, mess around with the color curves to get different kind of effects. So there's sort of many layers to doing this kind of stuff. What's up, Luxbeg? How are you? Okay, so that's that one. And then some of them actually incorporate animation into it too. I don't know if this one, I don't think it's on this one. Well, anyways, so what I'm doing here is I imported the analog glitch stuff into TV Paint, and then in TV Paint I actually animated over the analog glitch stuff. So I'll show you that right now. Oh man. So it's stuttering a lot. Crap. There we go. So that's where I'm at so far. Yeah, like I said, in the background, the analog glitch stuff, and then I'm hand drawing these shapes over it. So I'm just kind of experimenting with a bunch of stuff, and the drawn on film style from the 30s and 40s and 50s. There's so much texture in the like film grain and dirt and crud that would get on the film. So I'm trying to incorporate some more of that into it. So yeah, so now I'm just gonna work on the section I haven't worked on yet. So I need to import the soundtrack, and I'll find my sound. It's this one. Okay, hold on. Alright, now I have my sound file in here. You see the sound wave, and this is what will be the guide for the animation. I'm just gonna stretch this bottom part out so that when I click play it won't just stop randomly. Now, alright, now I'm gonna get a good brush to use. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna animate is the ba-ba-da. So, got some cool custom brushes down here, and I'm gonna do something probably a little bit glowy. Make this brush bigger. Alright, that's pretty cool. get more of a purple vibe. Alright, I'm going to turn my my pressure sensitivity down just a little bit so I can have some more tapered edges. Usually if I'm doing like clean line work, I'll keep the opacity off so that it'll just be consistent. But for this stuff, I want it to have a little bit more variation. So go down here, I see my sound wave. So I see like around frame 3 is when the big hit happens, when the sound really comes in. So I'm gonna have it coming in a few frames before that happens. And let me hear the sound. So I kind of just, you have to sort of embrace like a synesthesia type of feeling where you hear the sound and just whatever kind of shapes or impressions you get, you try to draw that, and you're not really thinking so much. Hey, Nicole Adams, things are going pretty good. I hope you're doing well. So I hear the but, so I'm going to kind of have it come up. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it coming like this. Okay. Okay. I kind of feel it coming in like this, and it's gonna kind of spiral in on itself, kind of like this, like a loop-de-loop. Well, that might be a little too hectic. Get rid of this frame. Actually, I think I might actually hate this. Hold on. I don't like that. Sorry. So yeah, it's kind of trial and error. The good thing about this sort of abstract stuff is not too precious on any one drawing, so it's not really a big deal if you decide you want to change stuff. I just feel like it was kind of, didn't like what I was doing there. But I do like the kind of more pink color for the voice. Let's see here. Okay. So this is where the sound comes in the biggest, so we'll have this shape getting really big, and then it's gonna shrink and dissipate as the sound fades away. So down here on the soundtrack, you can see the sound tapering and fading away. So I'll have the image do the same thing. We'll have this biggest frame, have this frame right after, kind of not quite a boil or a tracing, but have the drawing be really tightly close to it so that this image will register for a little bit, and then it'll go away faster. So I don't have my light box on. I'm just scrubbing back and forth between the frames to compare the before and after frame, and making sure that I like the feeling of each image. We'll see how this looks. Okay, so you can read it, you can register it, but now it's gonna shrink away really fast. And for this part, I will turn on the light box so I can make sure this is gonna have a smooth transition, a smooth fade out, and I want it to get progressively faster on each frame as it goes away. So now the tail is going to be catching up to the front end of this body here as it kind of loops in on itself. This kind of abstract style animation is quite a bit faster than doing like character animation, but it can also have a higher frame count because I'm animating this at 24 frames a second, whereas like not an abstract animation, a regular kind of animation, I do a lot more things on 2s or 3s, sometimes even 4s, and then of course you'll have some just held poses, have some parts that are like panning backgrounds, but this abstract stuff I'm pretty much drawing on every frame, but it's very simple drawings. So now we'll just have this disappear, and it's gonna get big on the second bup. And it's gonna start to shrink in on itself again. So just here, I'm just gonna loop this one section I'm working on. Da ba ba da ba da da da. So that ends on frame 48. So this is a 2-second section, and I am gonna copy and paste this sequence around on other parts when this vocal hook happens. That way I don't have to redraw this part over and over. And then I might do things like flip it horizontally, change the colors, do those little tricks. Okay. Alright, so now it's gonna disappear or get really small. Okay, now it's gonna spring out like a flower. I kind of see that happening. Okay, I like this. Alright, I'm gonna save so I don't become an April Fool. There we go. Alright. Cool, cool. Now this audio might be out of sync with whatever you're seeing on the live stream, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have no animation here, just have it black. Just black now, and then it's gonna come back. Alright, and it comes back. I'm gonna have it come up from here. I'll just have it descend down with the ba-da-da-da. Ba-da. Then it comes in here. But actually, I'll have it shrink into itself here. And then it comes in. It comes in. Ba-da-da. Da. Hold on, let's just see what this looks like. Okay, so this shape here is coming out this diagonal. We'll follow through with that and have it kind of fall down perhaps. Ba-da-da. Da. I don't know if I dig these super straight angles for this. Okay, I'll actually just have it kind of come in like this. Have it start to collapse in on itself. There we go. Okay, I like that. Okay, so there's also those bass and drum beats happening. So got kind of the melody thing going here, and I already animated some of the drum and bass parts, so there's no sense redoing that stuff a million times. So I'm gonna find some good ones over here. I can reuse this. So I'm gonna copy this bass layer. And go back into here and paste this in here. Just have to sync it up. Okay. Okay, cool, that's working. And I'm gonna change these colors to something else. Or maybe I put it in front, maybe try add. I don't know about that. Kind of rambling to myself. See if there's other bits I can use. Actually, I had some better bass parts on this other section right here. Oh crap, this is gonna take a while to load. Well, that's something. Oh yeah, I started rewatching Batman the animated series. And by rewatching, I mean I only ever saw it when I was a little baby. So I really didn't pick up on a lot of it. Man, it is a really well made show. I recommend watching it as an adult because there's a lot of stuff you're not gonna fully pick up on. It's really well made. The animation's great. It's kind of funny too, because like some parts are really unrealistic. I mean, obviously because it's animated, but like they go into some heavy topics like addiction and like I don't know, they handle it pretty well. It's a well written, well animated, it's just a really well made show, so I recommend it. And it's funny how extra Batman is with everything, because there was one episode where I think it was the one that's called well, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about, well, I'm not gonna, it'll take too long to explain the whole episodes, but basically this particular episode there wasn't that much action, so Batman had to be really extra with everything so that the kids weren't bored. So like he was carrying this villain on his back, and as he's jumping over the buildings, he's just like doing backflips which is so unnecessary and also dangerous because you could drop the guy you're carrying. It's just, you don't need to do don't need to do a flip every time you jump over something. But I guess it gives the animators something to do. And then, yeah. Well, this scene's gonna take a while. I should say, oh, I'm just reading a private conversation. Hold on. Okay, so this scene is better. Okay, there's kind of some better drum parts in here I can reuse, but I probably need to draw some more custom parts too, so it doesn't look too obvious like I'm reusing certain parts. But I think mixing it together with all these different visuals and background parts, I feel like it keeps enough visual interest. And also the song is kind of repetitive anyway, so it does kind of match the theme. So it's like, if musicians can repeat stuff, why can't animators? Okay, cool. So that's the boom boom boom. And I am going to copy and flip all of these vertically and horizontally since I already used them. I'll probably do some stuff with the layers and change around some stuff. Oh yeah, I liked Batman Beyond. That's the one I remember more. I always felt kind of edgy watching it, like I wasn't old enough to watch it. But yeah, I like Batman. He's funny. He's a funny guy. Let's see here. Let's try some other color choices. Alright, I think I like this one. Some more cyan in here. And I just watched Uzumaki yesterday. The first 2 episodes. Pretty weird. It's very chaotic. I wouldn't exactly say it's scary. It's more so just weird and kind of gross. But it's so bizarre and out there. It feels like being in a fever dream. And I am enjoying it. It's entertaining, that's for sure. But I haven't read the manga. I know people who are familiar with the manga aren't always happy with his adaptations. Okay, so there's like these kind of stringy choral voice stuff happening right around here. It's like, something like that. And I kind of see some vertical white-ish type lines that could start coming here that are like, like that kind of. Like, it gets holy. This is a holy sanctimony situation. So we'll draw some lines coming in here. And I'm going to have them kind of slowly going across the screen, but back and forth. This part I could probably do some of these on 2s actually. So I'm mixing the frame rates a little bit. Have some layers that are on 2s and some layers that are on 1s. And sometimes if you are doing all your layers on 2s, if you offset a layer by 1 frame, it can have the appearance of your whole animation being more on ones, because there's motion happening on every frame, even if the drawings themselves are on twos. It doesn't always work, and there's not always a reason to do that, but it can have a cool effect. Okay, cool. I'm digging that so far. Repetition establishes theme. Absolutely. You need 3 things to happen in order for it to be a motif or a repetition. If something happens 3 times, then it reads as a repetition or a rhythm. If it just happens once, then obviously there's no repetition. If it happens twice, then the second time might read as a mistake. But if something happens 3 times or more, then it's clear that it's a theme going on. And I'm gonna copy and repeat this white line a few times. I need to have it fade in. That's what I need to do, and this will work. Make my brush a little smaller. Have this start to fade in so that I can draw more of these. So I'm just going to animating reverse now. I'm going back to the previous frame so that these lines will fade into each other. Start making the brush smaller. But yeah, I would recommend, if you're interested in more abstract type animation, definitely, well, I mean, you can just search like direct filmmaking or drawn on film on YouTube and check out stuff by Norman McLaren, Lin Lai, and a whole bunch of other ones that okay, hold on a second. Alright, gotta get it even smaller. But they would actually draw on real film stock. Of course, I'm not doing that here, but I am trying to emulate the old style a little bit, but not be bound to it. I don't even know if emulate's the right word. Inspired by is probably a better word, because emulate suggests you're trying to recreate the style authentically. I'm not really trying to do that. Okay. Give it just one more. Cool. I dig that. I'll get back to animating this thing going across the screen. Whoop. Got a little too big. And I think this could probably go maybe completely off the screen. Maybe it'll start getting bigger like it's coming into the screen. I could have it kind of come here, start to shrink. Yeah. This is really kind of stream of consciousness. I didn't even draw any storyboards or thumbnails or anything. Well, okay, when I first started this, I did draw some like really quick sketches of how to draw the shapes for the different instruments. But once you start animating, it's really, this is a very free-flowing, improvisational style. And that's why I can even talk right now, because I'm not having to really think. Okay, now it'll start to wiggle around and shrink down. Maybe I'll transfer some of the weight, have the weight kind of animate up like it has a belly that's going up. So I'm just kind of thinking about the volume, imagining this section kind of forming and going upwards. Just to give it a little more visual interest. So it's not just a straight line, there's like something happening inside it. I've been trying to learn Blender and actually making a decent progress finally. I made a tutorial on Blender Grease Pencil. It's on my channel right now, so you can check it out. And yeah, finally, I've been talking about it so long, and now I finally feel like I'm making some progress in my learning. There's so many great tutorials on YouTube. It's not so much a lack of resources, and plus the program's free. It's more so just attention, time, motivation, all that stuff. But there's so many cool things you can do with it. I'm really wanting to do some hybrid 2D, 3D stuff, or just use the 3D tools to assist in 2D animation, like helping with perspective and getting the backgrounds in, potentially doing some texture mapping type stuff where it's like 3D objects, but you can map on 2D elements onto it and do really cool dynamic camera movements that wouldn't really be feasible on fully hand-drawn stuff. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm going to draw 3 of these little wiggles coming in here. Okay, duplicate this layer. I'm going to move it over a few frames. Maybe a little more. Okay, I like that. So I'm offsetting this. Offsetting by 12 frames, half a second. I'm going to duplicate one more layer. Cool, that looks cool, I like that. Let's see how this part looks. Whew, alright, that's pretty cool. I might add some like film grainy type texture in the background just to give it that more drawn on film type of style I was talking about. And there's also some guitar notes coming in. I'm going to lock these layers so I don't accidentally draw on it. So there's some guitar notes that come in. Yeah, there's guitar notes that happen around frame 48. So I kind of hear the guitar notes as being more thin and spindly. So let's see if there's a brush I can use to communicate that. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely not like a fat, thick thing like a bass or drum beat would be, but it's a little more. Don't know how much texture it would have. I see them being kind of maybe yellowish. Boo. That might work. Let's see. See here. Let's see, what kind of shape would it have though? A little stumped, hold on. Okay, maybe it's like kind of plucky. Okay, maybe it's like, how would that be? It's like bleh bleh. I see kind of like 3 of them happening at once perhaps, but kind of curved. Maybe it's kind of like this, kind of like wind. So that's like 1 pluck. And if this looks dumb, I'll just change it. Let's see here. So I'm gonna animate into this shape. It's not tangenting there. Okay, actually, flip this. We'll have it kind of go up because the notes are going up. Boo. I'm just gonna animate. So there's 3 of these, but I'm just gonna animate 1 at a time to get the timing right, and then I'll go in and add the other 2. Okay, let's see how this will feel. These ones will dissipate pretty fast. So it happens. I'll have another one that starts to come in here. Maybe the shape starts to break apart like a hand pulls in on itself. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, yes. I see that. I see that. Heck yes, that's working. That's working. Alright, now I just got to get these other ones in, following the first shape I did as a guide. And it starts to break apart. Okay, get this second one coming in here. Okay. Oh, sorry, I just realized I'm being nonverbal. I kind of zoned out. Literally forgot I was streaming for a minute. But yeah, like something with this type of abstract animation to sound stuff is it's all about, well, animating to the sound, and of course sounds poof in and out of existence, right? The frequencies come in and disappear. So it's the exact same concept with the what you're drawing is you start drawing a frame, and then it gets bigger as the sound gets bigger, and then as the sound disappears, your image disappears. So it's a very simple concept, and what you can do with that is you can just think of like one main motion you could do, like maybe a spin, maybe a pulse, maybe a bounce, maybe a wiggly line. You just think of like one main action you can do with something appearing and dissipating, and then you just sync it up to the sound, and that's it. Like, you can do anything with that. There's really no right way or wrong way, as long as the thing that's happening is happening before the sound. So the most important thing is having it in sync, but in terms of what you're drawing, like, it can be literally anything. There's no wrong way to draw a shape. And that's why I like it. It's a lot less stressful than trying to draw humans or something where there's a clear benchmark for what is accurate. Even if you're doing a stylized thing of humans, there's still like some basic things that have to happen for it to register as a human. So the guitar thing is a little more tedious because of the eccentric notes. It's not so much about this pulsating rhythm like the bass note or the drum beat, where it's kind of the same thing over and over. The guitar is a bunch of random, well, not random, but like less predictable sounds, and it changes a lot. So I can't get away with just copying and pasting the same shape over and over. Ooh, maybe I'll start streaming a lot again. Do some streams where maybe I won't talk as much if I have to focus. Do like a silent stream. But if it's interesting to see the process of stuff I'm working on, this isn't like so much a tutorial, but I hope you can inspire you, or maybe you'll pick up some things. You can learn how to do this in your own way. But I might start, I mean, I don't want to make promises because it's hard to, sometimes I really can't stream even if I'm just not talking, because I have to think really hard and I have to get up a lot and walk around. So it doesn't make sense to just stream every day or something like that, but maybe I'll try to stream more often of just like production reports, like you just keep up with stuff I'm working on if that's interesting. It's also kind of like a fossil record for myself, so I can remember what I was doing at a certain month. So I'm hearing this like sliding stuff on the guitar. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just like, you just have to see stuff in your head. zoom as much as you need. Animation and music have that in common, as art that exists within time is so cool. Yeah, that is so true. I think it's the only art forms that exist in time. Well, kinda. I mean, like theater is linear time and other stuff, but even like a theater play, the performance will change every time. It won't always be the exact same amount of time, but a 3-minute song is always 3 minutes no matter what. A 60-minute movie is always 60 minutes no matter what. Whereas a 3-hour play might fluctuate a few minutes here and there. And so it's like the most precise, film and music are the most precise art forms that when it comes to controlling the duration of time that someone experiences the content. Whereas like a comic book, comics and books have the least amount of control over their audience in terms of time, because someone could take an hour to read a page if they're really slow, or another person can speed read a book. And some people, for comics, like you might spend more time focusing on a panel, and comic artists can try to control that to a certain extent. Like panels that should be read quickly will have no dialogue, maybe not a lot of artwork, maybe smaller, whereas a panel that the author or artist wants you to linger over longer, or that they want to communicate a larger sense of time, they'll make the panel bigger, or they'll stuff it with more complex background art to give your eye more reason to focus and try to digest what it's seeing. So comic artists can do little hints and cues to try to help control the flow of time, but ultimately it's up to the reader to decide how fast they're going to turn the page. On that note, I think I'm going to be done now. So thanks a lot for watching. Please check out the other videos on the channel. I'm trying to not suck at YouTube. Full-time job. Not YouTube's not a full-time job. Not sucking's a full-time job. But that's just self-effacing stuff. I'm just being dumb. Whatever. Don't worry about it. But I greatly appreciate everyone watching. And you can check out the Blender tutorial. That's the most recent video on the channel. And I have a Patreon, and I also have a Fire course, and all the links to everything is in the description. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to keep working after I eat some bananas, and I'll see you in the next project.